In the ruins of a once powerful civilization dwell creatures born from humanity's deepest and darkest nightmares. The Deathclaw was created as a new biological species, a soldier that would replace humans in times of war. They were the ultimate weapon, ferocious, terrifying, and lethal, but after the nuclear holocaust, these creatures of nightmares became a plague that threatened to become the world's new dominant species. To understand what these creatures are, we must go back to before the nuclear bombs fell. The United States competed for resources and contracted several companies to help them. Tech companies like Robco were contracted to manufacture the government's computer systems. Vault-Tec was hired to build underground bunkers, or vaults. The US military's Biotechnology Research Division was given the strangest and darkest contract of all, to create an unstoppable biological creature using genes from the animal kingdom's strongest creatures to be used in battle. And so the codenamed chameleon was created, but in the wasteland, it is known by another name, the Deathclaw. Deathclaws are basically overgrown mutated chameleons. This is an important detail about the creature, as this monstrosity can turn invisible. Now, how were they created? The initial step was to map the genetic code of the chameleon and other animals with useful traits, like the resilient skin of a bear and the sharp claws of a jaguar. Those genes were mixed, and from that crossbreeding, a black chimera was born, the creature designed to inflict death on its enemies, and it was under the control of the government, but not for long. Next, the chameleon's body size was altered, taking it up to a scale impossible for any bipedal animal. More than twice the height of the average man. Its muscle mass was significantly amplified, its body's endurance to damage pushed to its limit, and its metabolism adjusted to sustain a massive body that wouldn't get tired. Its head was elevated for a better and broader field of view. Its limbs were redesigned to function as weapons, and since the creature walks on two legs, they were hardened to a point of being almost impervious. Thus, the perfect nuclear war creature was created, but the most disturbing thing is that this creature acts like a real animal. Some run in packs, and they reproduce. The female Deathclaws lay eggs capable of developing in the most inhospitable of places. The alpha male fertilizes the eggs of the strongest females, thus ensuring the next generation of Deathclaws will be stronger than the current one. The alpha also never leaves its territory. It is fixed on attacking and killing anything that goes near its nest. The genetic experimentations that created the Deathclaw were so successful that the government scientists requested the Army's high command to allow them to test this monster in combat. And in 2077, in the Battle of Alaska, this devil was put to the test. Cooper witnessed firsthand the creature's effectiveness and lethality. This was undoubtedly the perfect successor, or rather replacement, of human soldiers. It also helps that the creature can survive the end of the world. When the atomic bombs fell, humanity was nearly completely wiped out, but the mutant chameleons, the Deathclaws, escaped from the facilities that held them captive. The nuclear wasteland was the perfect habitat for the monsters, and so they began to build nests, sowing terror among those who survived the end of the world. In the 4th episode of the 2nd season of Fallout, we saw this creature during Cooper Howard's operation. And then at the end of the episode in New Vegas. Which reveals that these creatures have overpopulated parts of the United States and possibly other parts of the world. The biological weapon created by the government is a biblical plague. In the post-apocalyptic world, no one knows the original purpose of the Deathclaws or why they were created. The governments of the old world were gone, but these creatures remain, roaming the wasteland, a reminder of the corruption of those who were in power. Historically, variations of the Deathclaw have existed in the Fallout games, in particular a race of these monsters with high levels of intelligence, with their own civilization, and who only desire to live in peace. Be that as it may, the Deathclaw is not simply an obstacle for Lucy and Cooper. It is a new civilization flourishing from the nuclear ashes. Perhaps they are not just a replacement for human soldiers, but for humanity itself. Although they were created as biological weapons, the Deathclaw could turn out to be the inheritors of the planet. But it's very important to remember this one thing. Just as the United States was able to control the Deathclaws for a time, another party could also do so. A villainous force operating from the shadows, using these creatures of death.
Okie dokie.
And here comes the symbolism of the Deathclaw. With their deep roots in mythology, they don't appear just as another creature in the wasteland, but as an ancient idea that appears in different forms and legends. The Chimera, a monster assembled from other animals, created from the desire for power. The Chimera is what happens when nature is tampered with, a creature that goes against creation, taking fragments of life and forcing them together to create new life, which is then used as a tool. And as all the stories about the Chimera reflect, this act of playing God never ends well. The creature ceases to be a tool and becomes a punishment for its deranged creators. The story of the Deathclaws also resembles the legend of the Golem, a tale from Jewish legend that speaks of a being created to protect humans. Initially, it obeys, it fulfills its function, it defends. However, over time, the Golem loses its ability to distinguish between whom it should protect and whom it should destroy, contradicting its intended purpose. The Guardian becomes death itself. Similarly, the Deathclaw is a creation designed to protect and kill. The beast of the wasteland continues to exist without purpose, a feral animal, guided solely by instinct and the violence programmed into it from its creation. The Deathclaw represents humanity's deepest fear, creating something more terrifying than fear itself. They are a reminder that every creation born from the desire for control inevitably escapes and destroys its creator. I'm a Gloomy Geek, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okie dokie.